Good morning, everyone. So, welcome to ZB Farms. My name is Anne, and welcome to my home. This is February in Michigan. It is snowing right now. There is a good, I want to say about a foot of snow on the ground. Some melted yesterday. And this is why we start seeds indoors, because this is probably going to hang around till the end of March. So I won't be able to plant till probably in April. Now, we are currently in our garden, so I wanted to kind of show you around where everything will be. So this bed is actually covered with a thick layer of mulch. There is a bed here under here somewhere that is kind of open for whatever. Then we have another little bed kind of piled up right here. This is actually where all of my garlic currently is, and I will be adding in onions in there as well in the spring when we can. This bed right here has a super thick layer of mulch on it. This is actually where our potatoes currently are. And the reason we planted potatoes already is we planted them in the fall whole. So seed potatoes you usually cut down into where the eyelets are. These ones we planted in the fall. We kept them whole so that they would do better through the winter. And basically what we're doing is they go dormant during the winter season, but all of the energy gets shot into the root system, into creating new stuff underground. So hopefully we'll get 2 harvests this year though by doing this. Here is our brooding coop. So when our chickens get moved into our garage, they go into this. Then we move this into the run, which is right now, right there. We move that into the run so that they can all get introduced. Alpha is making noise. She loves to be on the camera. There's Alpha. Hi, Alpha. Hi, honey. But this is our run. It's pretty shielded right now to keep the chickens all warm during this winter. We have a chicken tunnel right there that is actually, it's blocked off right now because we had some pretty severe storms come through, and so a lot of snow is getting into their run. But we have 4 more beds along this back wall. 2 of those will be sent for corn. I actually have a cover crop on those to shoot nutrients, mainly nitrogen, back into the soil. And then along this back fence here and this side, I was going to do another chicken tunnel, but I decided between this fence and our actual yard fence, there's this like 2-foot gap that I am going to plant pollinator plants in so that it'll draw in beneficial bugs, but also keep the not so good bugs out. So what I'm gonna do is along that fence is I'm gonna put up a whole bunch of cow panels, and that is gonna be for all of our vining stuff. So like peas, green beans, tomatoes that are indeterminate, all of that. So that is what is going on right now, and we are kind of extending our garden outside of our current garden space. So we will have another down here on the bottom. All of our herbs that are currently in these buckets are going to be moved to the outside along with more pollinators. Over here is currently our strawberry bed. So we have another, I don't know if we'll be able to get any this year because they aren't established yet. Alpha, it's okay. I'll be back with more food. They demand treats whenever we come outside. So this is winter on our little homestead in our home. I am going to be showing you guys now how we do our meatballs. We do 2 different kinds. We do venison and we do beef. We usually smoke them. So we aren't going to show you the smoking process because that's just weird and we don't have a very big smoker. But then we're also going to, I also have a bunch of other stuff to do. So enjoy the meatball tutorial, and I got to get some more seeds started for the spring, hopefully, which comes sooner than later. But today we are making meatballs. The kids wanted spaghetti meatballs for dinner, so we had that on the plan for meal prep. So we might as well make them all now. We are making a lot of meatballs. Some of them are going to be made with venison, some with beef. And so let's get started. So first off, in this bowl I have 2 pounds of venison. With venison, I actually prefer to use do about a 1-to-1 ratio. So for every 1 pound of venison, I do 1 pound of pork. And that's just my preference because venison is a very lean beef, and so it doesn't have a lot of fat content to kind of help hold everything together and just keep them juicy. So as a way to help that, we do about a 1-to-1 ratio. And then now, for every pound of meat, I do 1 egg. So, and these are farm fresh from our own chickens. That one's just came inside. So I'm going to do 4 eggs into here. And then we have just regular breadcrumbs. I'm going to do a decent amount of that. Just a touch of salt just to help out. The breadcrumbs have a little bit of salt on it. And then parsley. I'm just using dried parsley because that's what I have. I would prefer fresh parsley, but again, just using what I have. And then usually it'd be Parmesan cheese. We don't have any Parmesan grated like this, so we're using Pecorino Romano. And then my hands were washed, but make sure you wash your hands, and then the best way to do this is to get in with your hands and just start digging in. Now we are actually going to be smoking our meatballs. That's just how we prefer it. But these you can cook them either in the oven or put them directly into, sear them off and then put them directly into your sauce. Either way works. we're on to the beef meatballs. The other ones are already in our smoker. They're gonna be cooking for, I'm not sure how long. I'll get that later. But now it's on to the beef ones. Now in here I have about 2 pounds of ground beef. Now with these ones, I actually prefer to do a 2-to-1 ratio. So about 2 pounds of ground beef to 1 pound of pork. That way it's a little bit more even. And then same story as before, I'm adding a little bit of salt, parsley, breadcrumbs, and cheese. Venison meatballs. They smell really good. So I'm excited. I think we're gonna be doing the venison tonight because the kids do like their venison at this house. But you guys should try it. All right, so I am about to show you something that, to be honest, is actually very embarrassing. I have not taken care of my starter very well recently, and this is my starter, my sourdough starter. And this is actually a good learning experience, not only for you guys, but also for me. So this is my sourdough starter, and inside, I uncover it, you'll see this dark, grayish black liquid, and you might think, that's gross, you need to get rid of it. No, not necessarily. So the first thing you're going to do is first see if you have any mold, like pink or anything like that in here, because that's going to tell you if you can use this starter or not. I've already checked and I don't have any sort of mold growing in mine. I don't have any pink liquid, no pink streaks, nothing like that. So we are good in regards to that. Then the next step before you continue on to try to save your sourdough or get rid of it is, so now we know that there's no mold or anything in here. The next thing is, do we want to save the liquid? First off, that liquid is called Hooch. Since this does have yeast in it, it does create alcohol, which in that Hooch, that is partially alcohol in there because it's fermentation. So a lot of people will say, no, don't save it. But everything else I've read online says it's good as long as it smells good. So when you go in there, you actually want to smell it to first make sure it smells more yeasty and pleasant flavor. If it smells like nail polish or anything, toss the black liquid and you can just take the sourdough from underneath. So we are going to save this because I've already smelled it too. And it actually smells really good. So we're going to save this by stirring in that black liquid. You might think that's really gross. If that's how you feel, you can of course skim it off. But I haven't tried it yet, but actually, no, I have. I've had a very thin layer of this Hooch on there before, and it made really good sourdough bread. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stir it in. Then I'm probably going to waste quite a bit of this because I'm going to store it in this smaller container. We don't go through the sourdough as fast as most people do because some of our family doesn't like sourdough. So I'm going to keep just enough to really basically make bread. And then in between bread making, I'll make other things like cinnamon rolls. We'll try that. Maybe we'll try it. So I just cleaned this container. I just bought it and I just gave it a really good scrub down and let it air dry for a little bit too. forget to like and subscribe so you can keep up to date on what is happening at ZB Farms.